The reckoning. The jungle burned with energy, alive in ways it had never been before. The man, Subject 087, stood at the center of it all, surrounded by his newfound kin. The others, the figures once floating lifeless in their tanks, now pulsed with the same glowing energy that coursed through him. They were awake, aware, and ready. Above, the skies darkened as more triangular crafts appeared, their ominous hums vibrating through the trees. This wasn't just a retrieval mission anymore, this was an all-out purge. The government had underestimated him once, they wouldn't make that mistake again. The orb in his hand flickered, revealing more symbols, more instructions. He didn't need to understand the language, it spoke to him in ways words couldn't. The jungle had given him its power, and now it was giving him its final weapon. He raised the orb high, and the earth trembled. From the depths of the jungle, ancient structures began to rise, massive spires covered in glowing runes, their surfaces alive with shifting energy. These weren't human-made, they weren't even from this world. The jungle had been harboring something far older, far more dangerous than any of them realized. As the spires activated, beams of light shot into the sky, striking the crafts above. One by one they exploded, their shards raining down like fiery comets. But the government wasn't giving up. From the distance he could hear the unmistakable rumble of approaching forces, armored vehicles, more drones, soldiers. They were coming for him. The jungle moved to defend itself. Trees bent and twisted, forming walls and barriers. Vines lashed out like serpents, pulling down anything that dared invade. The awakened hybrids fought alongside the jungle, their bodies glowing as they channeled its energy. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for freedom. In the chaos, the man reached the largest spire, its glow pulsating like a heartbeat. He placed the orb into a socket at its base, and the jungle fell silent. For a moment, everything stopped. The birds, the insects, even the soldiers froze, as if time itself held its breath. Then the spire erupted with light, sending a shockwave across the jungle. The crafts fell from the sky, the soldiers dropped their weapons, and the jungle itself seemed to sigh with relief. The energy washed over everything, purging the technology, the control, the corruption. The man staggered back, the orb now dark and lifeless in his hand. The spire had done its job, the government's forces were gone, and the jungle was safe. For now. Days later, the jungle was quiet again, but it wasn't the same. The spires stood as silent sentinels, their glow a constant reminder of what had transpired. The man stood at the edge of a cliff, looking out over the endless green. His kin, the hybrids, moved through the jungle below, blending seamlessly with the environment. They were no longer experiments. They were protectors. He knew the government would come again. They always did. But now he wasn't afraid. The jungle had chosen him, and he had become something they couldn't control, something they couldn't destroy. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and red, the man turned and disappeared into the jungle, his silhouette merging with the trees. He was no longer Subject 087. He was the jungle's guardian, and the world would never be the same.